Hi, Emer Barry, and welcome once again to the Mary-Jess Meets podcast. I'm so happy that I can have you on again. Before we get going and start talking, I'm just going to ask our lovely people to subscribe to the channel and press the like button because that will really help us out. So now that I've got that little ask out of the way, how you doing, Emer?
I'm good. All the better for talking to you. As we were saying before we started this, we've never actually met in person, but we feel like we're like super close now. So I'm like, I could just literally talk to you all day, all day. We get nothing done, but we could just talk. So
Absolutely, because I've already been talking to you all day before we've recorded this.
I know.
I feel like I can keep going.
We're not going to run out of things to say because it'll just be like, blah.
Yeah, no, it's so funny because I say to like my granddad, I've said now that talking about you a lot due to something that we're going to mention in a little bit. And I said I've just like such good friends with Emer, like we've been talking for years and years and years, and yet I've never met her. And my granddad finds this so strange. He's like, "You've never met this person."
I know.
Like, especially with COVID now, this is the way forward.
But honestly, I don't know if I would have actually gotten through the last few months without that sense of I've got your back from people in the industry like you, and we have that little chat with Joanna, and then you're friends with Grace now, and I sort of kind of voice memos with Grace as well. And it's just really nice to kind of have this feeling of if you're having a crappy day, you can just be like, okay, I'm going to rant, and I know you're going to understand what I'm saying. So here's my rant. And then people will come back with this like, I totally get it. It's all okay. Your feelings are totally normal and it'll get better. And there's just this pool of positivity from the industry, which I just think is just so lovely to be part of that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And I cherish that so much.
Yeah.
I mean, my last rant that I had to go to talk to you was when I tried to do a live on YouTube like I did last time. And for some reason, everything had changed. It wasn't working.
Yeah.
I swapped over to Facebook, like Facebook Live to the rescue. And after I managed to sort that out as best I could, I was on WhatsApp to you guys going, you never guess what happened, blah, 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 blah.
But you need that because it can feel very lonely, can't it? This whole kind of like everything is going wrong, and you're like me, you want to stay positive and proactive because for your own sanity, and also understanding that the world needs that. Well, we've got enough negativity kind of filling up our newsfeed that you feel as an entertainer, it's it is your job to kind of be positive and send a positive message. So you kind of need those little kind of breaks from that where you're like, it's all going wrong. But in general, I mean, we're lucky. We're lucky we have that, and we also have the mode of communication via all social media platforms, which I feel very grateful for at the moment. And also, you were the person who inspired me to record from home, because I had heard something that you did that we'll talk about in a second, but it was recorded at home, and I couldn't believe the quality of it. And I thought, well, maybe I should like invest in my own kind of home studio thing. And then I did. I got my microphone and a whole lot, and I do most of my recordings from home now. So yeah, I feel quite grateful that we're able to do that. That there's so much, even in COVID world, that we can actually still create and still be creative and still put stuff out. And
Yeah. Well, you've taken it one step further than me, though, because I record from home, but I don't produce. Whereas during lockdown, you learned how to produce your own vocals as well as recording, which is pretty clever.
I am pretty clever. Now that you mention it, I'm like super clever.
You are, though.
I mean, when you have the time to do something, you sort of like, if you spend enough time at anything, you'll figure it out. So I had all of this time because I had nowhere to go. So it was like, I learned, I think, to be honest, if you gave it a go, you'd be fine, you'd be brilliant at it, because all you need is a good ear and some patience. And you do have patience because you make your own clothes. If you make your own clothes, you've got patience, you like with a little, that was me sewing, by the way.
Oh, I liked it. It was good. You get your own balloon very soon, and you did it. Yeah.
See? I was waiting for that to crop up, the little balloon. That used to be an ugly hole, everyone, and now it's a pretty balloon. So creative magic there.
I'm very chuffed with my little balloon, probably a little bit more than I should be, but yeah, I love it.
It is exciting. You have a balloon that, you know, only you have on this shirt. Your own balloon. Like the little star to the movie Up. You can just like have balloons everywhere. Go off.
That's why I did the balloon, is because I love Up.
Oh my God, Up is like the best. It's the best one.
It is. Like, it's incredible. I cry every time.
Oh, stop. And the little chubby boy in it, and he's just so cute. Oh, I just want to.
I know. I love Doug the dog, though. I think he's my favourite.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, all of them. Every time I watch it, I have a different favourite. But we digress.
Yeah.
We could just talk about Disney movies, but that's probably not why. No, but just like yeah. The recording things from home thing has been such a revelation. Like, and the producing, like, literally all it is you deciding, because we do that when we record our own stuff anyway. The producer will send you something and you'll decide, actually, I don't like it this way, can you adjust the levels this way or put more reverb on this or whatever. So all it is doing that from home, you know.
Yeah, and it does give you more freedom to make those choices before they come back to you. That's something that I've quite enjoyed. Like, I was saying to Grace, because Grace Foley's just got her own recording set up at home as well. Yes. And I said to her the other day something that I never thought I would say. And that's that I think I prefer recording at home now.
Me too. Yeah, and I do, because like there's something when it's just you listening back, you're a little bit more like, okay, well I can do a few takes that are rubbish, and you know, to warm myself up, and then I'm not gonna feel embarrassed about that. And not that you ever actually sound rubbish, but it's more that sort of thing. Like, there's always that pressure for those first few notes that you're like, oh, okay, my voice hasn't quite settled yet. You know, it's a settling thing.
Yeah, of course it is. But I'm gonna get into it. It's like, that's why athletes have a warm-up area before they come out and do their actual thing on the track.
Yeah.
You've got to get into it.
You have to settle. And it's not just about warming up the voice through scales. It's actually about just kind of just letting your voice settle into that piece of music, those opening phrases, just letting it just kind of go, okay. But I find when I'm in a studio, there's in the back of my head is like, I'm paying for this day in the studio. If I don't find a good day, there's just more pressure. Whereas if you have it at home, like I remember one night I had been recording For Always from, Josh Groban covered it, but from AI, you know that song, I close my eyes and there in the shadows I see light.
Oh, I love that.
It's a gorgeous song, but there are phrases that have really low notes in it. And I'd recorded the song during the day with the low notes I wasn't happy with. And then I was dropping off to sleep. And I felt, oh God, my voice feels like it could definitely sing low notes. I literally hopped out of bed and I went in and I recorded those low phrases and put them into the song. I was like, oh, there we go. That's what I prefer. But you can't do that when you're in a studio, when you're dropping off to sleep, and ring the producer up and be like, could you open the studio for me so I can go in and sing those low notes?
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, I'm hopping in my car now. Now I know it's 10 o'clock at night, but my voice is ready. We do.
I'm definitely feeling I'm having a good voice day or a good voice hour at the moment. So having it at home, you can like nip in and then be like, okay, it's not quite working. I'm gonna go have some tea, or well, I don't drink tea, but go have some like a biscuit or whatever, and then come back and be like, my voice is ready now. But you can't do that in the studio. You're paying for that time.
Well, I'm paying for that time. It is a lot of pressure, especially because you kind of feel like if you get a cold the week before.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And you've booked that studio time, so you've still got to go and use it, even if you're not feeling well or not 100%. And I've tried to cope with that over the years by just thinking, well, it's a photograph of my voice at the time.
Yes.
And I like that idea. But then at the same time, like when you say about recording low notes, I'll go in first thing in the morning and record low notes.
Yes.
And then later in the day, I'll warm up my voice in the late afternoon, and then I'll sing the rest of the song. But you can't do that in the studio.
No, you absolutely can't get that in the studio. And often when I used to go to studios, I would have to say, okay, I'm in the morning, I'm going to have to record all the low bits because that my voice is just better. And once it's been fully warmed up, yes, I can sing the notes. Absolutely, I can sing them, but I don't have the same quality for recording. You know what I mean? Like live, it's different because live is a different experience. You know, it's you're experiencing that moment, and it's really special, that moment. But recording is something that, you know, it's sort of it's just a different kind of like, I love performing live, it's my favorite thing, but I've learned how to make recordings that I'm really, really happy with. It's a different experience, and you're sharing, as you said, a photograph of your voice on that day, or kind of in that song, in that zone. But it's never going to be the same as a live performance. It's just not no worse or better, it's different. So you do tend to record it differently.
Yeah, because I sing songs differently in the recording studio as I would sing them live, and I think
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's totally different. Yeah. And that's why it's actually really interesting going to hear somebody live, because you know it's going to be just that little bit different, even if it's just only slightly. There's just a different feeling when you hear somebody live on a recording. And that's the really exciting thing about when you listen to somebody on a recording and then you go to see them live. You're like, oh, okay, I'm getting a different experience here, you know. And that's why I think miming doesn't work in a live performance. You know, there was a period of time where pop singers would mime. It's, you know, you're missing that sort of almost that beautiful imperfection that comes from just where your emotions are on that day, you know. I could talk about that for hours, so I'm going to stop myself now.
No, I love talking about that as well, because I feel like with recording, that's the point where I really get to whisper into somebody's ear and portray those raw emotions that you get in the voice as if you were whispering into somebody's ear. In a live situation, you can't do that. Those whispers and those little inflections of emotion in the voice often get drowned out by other stuff in live.
100%, absolutely. Plus, the what I found when I was on tour, and initially when I was going on tour, I would try to emulate that kind of whispery, because we both do that kind of whispery, breathy sound at certain points. I would try to bring that on tour with me, and then I would realize that my voice after the first few concerts would get quite tired. And I realized that really that kind of special kind of whispering into somebody's ear thing, that's not sustainable for a full show over and over and over again, because you're not, it's sort of this really special little thing that you can do in the studio, but it's not necessarily translatable to stage. So I tend to sing more full voice in live performance. But again, that brings a magic of its own, because you're communicating with people, and you know, you're feeding off the atmosphere and the energy of the audience, of that particular audience on that day. So it's a different, you know, it's a very, very different thing. So I hope live performances come back soon, because clearly we both love them.
Yeah, I hope so as well. But it's interesting what you say, going back to talking about low notes and recording low notes to singing them live, because it's something that people don't expect sopranos to have to deal with. Normally for sopranos, they're like, well, you sing the high notes, which is true. We like those. They are the fun ones. But I actually did a tutorial video on my YouTube channel about how to sing low notes in the studio and how to sing them live with different vocal tips.
Oh, I didn't watch that. I must watch that.
I'd love to know what you think of it, because I do think about how it's different. Because like, people don't normally talk about that with sopranos, but if you think about Les Mis or Phantom, the low notes that sopranos have to reach, you've got to know how to get there.
Oh God, interesting you say that, and it would be interesting to watch your DVD, because when I a problem I had years ago when I kind of stopped opera, because opera is, sopranos very rarely have to deal with low notes. They are sitting up there. It's all, you know, carrying over the orchestra, where your voice is placed always above a middle C, always. But for crossover, it's just a different technique. So singing low notes is something that I had to learn to do after opera. And I noticed that if I sang high, I would literally completely lose my low notes for years. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And last year when I went to America, I was nervous about my voice in general, because the previous year I'd gotten sick and I'd lost my voice. So I kind of was very adamant to keep it healthy. And I actually watched a girl on YouTube, and I've forgotten her name. And the best tip I have ever gotten on how to maintain your low notes. I'm going to share it with you. It's a glottal stop. If you can make the sound ooh, like, you know, with kind of like a very defined kind of bringing your chords together very quickly, it absolutely reminds your chords how to access the low note. Whereas otherwise you can, it's like after a while of warming up, your chords forget how to come together at the bottom. So if you do an ooh sound, so like even if it's down like quite low, like ooh, ooh, when on an ooh vowel anyway, your larynx is in a lower position, so it naturally goes there, and then the glottal stop helps bring the chords together, and it literally works every time. So when I'm going to sing low notes, I use my ooh.
Interesting.
There you go now.
Yeah, that's something that's not in my tutorial video, actually. I haven't tried that. I've got a couple of other techniques that I use that I find help me out a lot, because I'm like you, when I warm up, if this is my range, it goes that way.
Oh,
like I gain all this top note, and then these ones are like, where have they gone?
They disappear, and you're fine at the beginning, and then you're like, where did it go? Why can I not hit that note anymore? Yeah,
it's just because your voice is warming up, and you know that's where it likes to sit when it's nice and warmed up, and that's fine, that's natural. But then when repertoire does demand the lower notes, the thing that I try and do is not just relax the jaw a little bit more, and open the mouth a bit more, and just make sure everything is relaxed. Maybe put a few bit more breath through.
All of that.
I find really helps is if you go to swallow but don't. It brings your larynx up, so that you've then got more vocal tract to hit the low notes down the bottom.
It's again, it's about the flexibility of the larynx, isn't it? It's all about the flexibility, because it's the thing that I think that a teacher explained to me years ago, but I didn't actually get a fix from this teacher, was that when you go to, if there's any tension, and there's always going to be a little bit of tension in your singing, especially accumulatively, there's little muscles that hold your larynx in place called the Supra laryngeal muscles, and what they do is they get to a point of tension where they forget to release to allow your larynx to go down low. So a lot of these exercises will remind you to sort of have a space and a release, or remove the tension from the larynx, which will then allow it to sort of be flexible enough to sing the lower notes. So it's also fascinating.
I know, I love it. I love geeking out about this stuff.
I know, it's like, oh, holy God, we're so boring. If any singers watching this, I'm sure they're finding it interesting as well.
I hope so. I had a proper geeky moment on my podcast with Marcella Bovio. We were talking about vocal techniques and all that kind of thing. I was in my element. I was so happy. I'm glad to say, actually, the comments afterwards, people said, oh, I didn't know that about singing. That was interesting. So hopefully...
Well, I think even for me, when I listen to other singers that are really, really good, there is that part of my brain that goes, oh, they're just able to, they probably don't have to practice at all. They just have it. They make it sound so easy. They probably just, you know, they were just born like that. But even with all my knowledge, and I'm like, but Emer, like, no, that's not how it works. It's the people who are most effortless are the people who put the most effort in. Like it's which is kind of mind-boggling, because honestly, there are some people who make it sound like it is just the easiest. But I know from listening to myself, the recordings that I'm most happy with are the ones that I worked hardest on. You know, the ones that I can listen back to and go, yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. Or the ones that I spent weeks just taking it apart and like working them in, and then getting to the point where it felt kind of natural. But it is. So I know that for myself, but there's still that part of my brain that goes, oh, they're just like, that's just a gift from God. It's like, it is a gift from God, but they also worked on it.
Yeah, exactly. There's one singer that there's a lot of singers that I feel like that about, but especially when I watch Sumi Jo, the Korean singer.
Oh gosh, yes.
Her high notes are just insane. They're amazing.
I feel that way. Obviously Sumi Jo was there, but there's always going to be one person, isn't there, that makes you go, and that for me, that's Kathleen Battle. I'm just like, what? How does she even make that sound? Like, that's not even from this earth. Kathleen Battle, like, I just shivers all over. Now I'm talking about opera. There's loads of singers that I admire, but in the opera world, I know how difficult it is to keep the sound really pure, you know, but also extraordinarily supported and able to project. And
yeah, I've got so many opera singer names coming into my head now where I'm thinking, but what about this performance that you saw?
No, I know. Just like it could be. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Oh
yeah,
God, but you know it's funny.
Tonight aria is Diana Damara. Oh my gosh, she is the best Queen of the Night.
Oh, she's incredible. Yeah. But do you know what's funny? Like I can hear how incredible she is, but I wouldn't choose to listen to her. But that's just completely and utterly personal taste. And I think that's the amazing thing about music, is that people hear and like different things. You know, and whenever I feel bad about my own kind of stuff, I'm like, but yeah, there are going to be people who don't like you the same way you wouldn't choose to listen to this amazing person over here. It doesn't mean that you're not good. You know, it's sort of like just, there are people in the world who just like and hear different things and like different things, and that's okay. And for me, I always use the example of Renee Fleming, who is incredible, but I just would not choose to listen to her, because for me, I'm just like, well, it's just not a voice I would listen to. I would choose to listen to, you know, Dawn Upshaw or Kathleen Battle or Barbara Bonney, or, you know, they're the voices that my ears like. They're the voices my ear enjoys. But it doesn't mean that I don't think this person over here is extraordinary. Do you know what I mean? So it's a little process you have to go through in your own mind when somebody leaves a bad comment on like a YouTube video. You're just like, well, that's just a person who doesn't like me, and that's okay. You know, you kind of have to.
It's hard to get to that point though, isn't it? I mean, that's taken me years to get to that
point.
I'm able to let it go a bit more now, but like you can do the best performance you've ever done, and still not everybody's going to like you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And as soon as you really let it go, it does make life easier, doesn't it?
And you know what, but it's not even that those people, it's some people are just trawling the internet looking to kind of spread a little bit of nasty. That's kind of what, and you just sort of go, oh, you're just clearly feeling a lot of pain and hurt inside you, and you feel if you get rid of it to other people that you won't feel it anymore, which is obviously not how the world works. But I think most of the people who write nasty comments, like you and I actually, and I don't know if we should mention her or not, but there's a lovely girl that we follow on Facebook who posted something, and there was a really nasty comment underneath where this lady went, "Don't give up your day job." And I could see you and me were like jumping in going, "You're brilliant, don't listen to it." But what I thought was funny was I got the exact same message from a different person. I put up a video of me singing, I think it was At Last, you know that song, and again, just some random woman I don't know just came on my page and said, don't give up your day job. And I was like,
not necessary.
Yeah, it's just mean.
It's mean.
Why would you be mean? You know, like, but this girl who replied, she did the most beautiful reply. It was like, I hope your day gets better. It's like, you're just too kind for words. You're just so beautiful. I was like, if we could all be like you, it would be brilliant. I don't want to out her now in case she gets embarrassed, but she probably know who she's talking about, who we're talking about.
Yeah, but you're completely right. Like, what happened to, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all?
You see, you and I live like that.
But stuff on the internet, just move on.
I know. But look, it is, but it's all a learning curve, isn't it? It's just learning how to kind of be positive in the world, regardless of any negativity that is sent your way. That you just kind of, like Wonder Woman, you're just like, no, I will not take it.
Oh my gosh, I love that woman.
Yes, and I will be positive no matter how much negativity comes my way.
Yes.
No. Yeah. So that's the definition of Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Wonder Woman is my favorite. She is such an inspiration. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. Yes. We shall do that.
We can all be Wonder Woman.
Exactly. But talking about learning curves, you've learned something else during lockdown. You've really made the most of lockdown. Goodness gracious.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
Your video editing.
Thank you. I've been lucky now during lockdown. I've been able to keep busy. So initially, you know, I had planned all of these music videos, and apart from the whole kind of, you know, obviously not being able to go anywhere. The other thing was like I wasn't really earning money, so you know, I had saved, but then it was kind of like I can't justify spending money on more music videos when I'm not actually bringing money in. So regardless, I can't like use my savings if I'm not going to be able to replace that with earnings. So I decided I would make some homemade music videos. So the one that I'm most proud of is She Moved Through the Fair, which I recorded at home. Very, very simple version of it. And I thought, how cool would it be to lie on my floor and have the camera above me, and just kind of, you know, see if I can do something to edit that. And I figured out ways of kind of zooming in on different parts of the frame, and then there's websites where you can download footage for a subscription, and mixing all of that together. So it was a nice kind of thing to be able to create some art that wasn't necessarily all about my singing, which was kind of nice, because a lot of what I do is music videos and I love that. But obviously it's an expensive investment over time, and it takes a crew and the whole lot. So in the absence of that, it was nice to be able to create my own stuff. So yeah, so that's kind of been fun.
I remember you telling me about the contraption that you used to have the camera right above you. Like,
oh God.
Like looking like it's going to fall on your head.
Honestly, like if anybody actually, I had like a white skirt on the floor that I was lying on, and then I had my ring light, but then a second ring light, so because the camera needed to be in the middle of the ring light, because otherwise it wouldn't be over my face, it would be over like my torso when I was lying down. So yeah, I was holding that together with straight, like honestly, it could have fallen into my face at any point. We're lucky I still had to.
Professional setup. You can
Honestly. And then I have this remote control where, so I was lying on the floor and I'm like, okay, that's a nice position. My hand is up, and like just press the click button. A couple of times it didn't work, so I was like, come on, I need you to play. And then when I was turning it off, I couldn't turn it off. Anyway, we got there eventually, and it was fun to put that together. So yeah, I've been
like put together like that in your living room. Looks incredible what you've done with it. It really does. Like, nobody would know about any of that behind the scenes stuff at all.
Probably not.
I mean, I know crew this lady must have.
I know, like, oh my gosh, how many people must have been moving that camera around? Like, it was literally just shot at one angle, and then I was in post edit, I was able to move the camera to different parts of my face and zoom in and zoom out. And yeah, so it was great. I have to say, it was really nice to be able to focus on something, to keep my to keep new stuff coming out, because I think for me, I've watched everything on Netflix at this stage. There is nothing left for me to watch on Netflix, and nothing new is coming out because people aren't making things. So, you know, and I get, you know, little messages every now and again from people saying, oh, you know, thanks so much for releasing new music, it really makes my day. And I'm like, you forget, don't you, that is actually the reason you do this, because it actually does lift people's spirits. Certainly for me, the people I follow, I love when I see something new come out. You know, I follow a lot of kind of comedy sketch people. Yeah, I absolutely love when they have new videos out. So yeah, for that reason, I think it's worth the effort and the time you put into it, and it's also worth the money you invest, to sort of feel like you're actually, like, you're giving a little piece of joy to people. You know, I know that sounds really egotistical. As it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh no, take that back. Really, like, I'm spreading joy into the world. But what I really mean,
because people do love to see that.
Yeah, I love it. As a viewer, I like to sort of I like when people release new stuff that I follow. I love, you know, I can't wait to see your Songs of Praise thing. I don't know how to see it in Ireland, but like, I really, really want to see new stuff. I do. I want to hear you sing new things. I want to see you out in the world performing. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing I was really excited with, well, I've been excited about lots of things that you've been up to during lockdown. But one thing in particular that you were talking to me and Joanna about, you were saying, oh, I've got this big gig coming up and I'm so nervous, and you nailed it. It was
Oh, thank
scenario, and you were all socially distanced and all that,
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of thing. Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I actually have to figure out, I know somebody on Twitter filmed it from the TV and posted that. But I want to see if I can get the actual, the actual footage of it so I can put it on my YouTube channel. But yeah, it was really lovely. Like, I think, the fact that lockdown happened meant that RTE, which is the Irish kind of official television station, I suppose, or the biggest one, that they wanted to put together a concert for that same reason, just to sort of be like, look, here's some Irish artists wanting to share music with you, and hope you enjoy the concert type thing. There was poetry in it. There was we were kind of the token opera bit, but there was like pop singers, and there was a box player, and I'm doing this for box player, you know what I mean, like an accordion type thing. There was lots of different from different venues around Ireland. But that wouldn't have been an opportunity that would have come without coronavirus. And I got to sing with Ireland's like certainly best known, most successful international opera singer soprano, Celine Byrne, who is extraordinary. So obviously I was like, I'm really been singing opera for a while, so this is a little scary. And it was to sing Sul Aria from the Marriage of Figaro, which I had sung when I was studying. And Celine is lovely. She was so warm and so lovely, and and yeah, I was delighted. Like, I did practice non-stop for 3 weeks, because singing opera is a whole other ball game, and especially standing beside somebody whose career for the past however long has just been like, she has sung the role of the Countess all over the world, and I was like, hello, I'm gonna sing Susanna beside you. So I was like, I have to really get my voice working to that level of projection, and I wish if I'd had more time, I think I would have been probably happier with it. But I was happy listening back. I was happy with it. So
it's absolutely amazing, and you're talking yourself down so much there, because you've had a career in opera. Yeah. You've studied it, you've lived it, and your voice, you can do so many things, and I think versatility is a huge asset. Like,
yes,
and you opera and all the crossover stuff as well. It's bloody clever. So,
which I think the reason is, and I suppose I have to be aware that I sound like I'm talking myself down, but it's more, I have such respect for the technique, because I know how difficult it is, and I know what all the stuff, that how much work it takes, and all the stuff that needs to be in place to sing it absolutely in the correct style. And opera is something where you can't just change the style, you have to sing it. Crossover, you far more flexibility and freedom to decide, you know what, I'm just going to do this little inflection here. With opera, it's like, no, your priorities, you absolutely have to be heard over the orchestra, and that's the number one priority. And with that then comes this body of warmth through the whole tone, which I admire hugely, because the stamina it requires to produce that sound consistently through one piece of music, let alone a whole opera, is just extraordinary. So it's because I have so much respect for people who have worked to that level, to get that level of stamina to produce that sound, that I know me going back and kind of going, okay, no, I really want to take this seriously. I want to work phrase by phrase and get the voice working so that it blends with this person who's doing it all the time. It's more a respect thing than a kind of putting myself down. Because I understand it so much. It's respect, but I love what I do. I chose to go into crossover because I love the music. I love that you can fuse different pieces of music together, or you can pick a piece of music and go, I'm going to arrange this in a way that's never been heard before. I'm going to put a little bit of a Celtic slant on this. I'm going to change the introduction. You're not going to change Mozart's introduction. You're like, ooh, let's see what we can do with, you know what I mean? You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So, like with crossover, you have all of this, like, ooh, I'm going to fuse Fauré's Pavane with this pop song. Like, you're not going to do that with opera. So I love the sort of composition element, I guess, and arranging element in crossover music.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you, because
yeah,
like, because you write music as well, so it's which you know, you're never going to find an opera singer that has written an opera. That doesn't happen. You're either an opera singer or you're a composer. You very rarely you're going to be both. Like, I don't know of anybody who has, you know, been an opera singer and then actually, here's this new opera I wrote, or here's this new aria I wrote. It doesn't really happen.
That's kind of a shame. You kind of think the best people to write operas would be those who've had experience working in them. They've done it.
No, it's like, it's not something that's cultivated. I think because the technique is so all consuming that you focus on it. That is your main focus, learning how to use your body and your voice that way. And there's so much, there's stagecraft, and there's so many other things, that composition is not something that's really nurtured in people. They are performers, they're not composers. So for me, like, starting to write music was such a kind of like, oh my God, you mean I can actually write stuff? I don't just have to be the vessel for other people's words. It's been, you know, quite a journey, kind of learning all this. I'm waffling now. I'm just like,
no, I enjoy the waffling. Keep going. Because honestly, I thought it was like, going back to the beginning. When I was studying opera at uni, I'd watch tons of different versions of the same aria and go, oh, I like what this person did, and I like what this person did. And then I do my own thing, and then I get told off because this crotchet beat is not supposed to be it's not a dotted one, it's supposed to be it. And I was going, for goodness sake.
Oh no, and it's really like, I mean, it's like, this is what Mozart wrote, you have to sing what Mozart wrote, which I get, because I'm like, let's not mess with Mozart. But the great thing for your voice type is that cadenzas, you did have freedom in cadenzas. You could choose. So that, like, not so much for my voice. Mine was more kind of a light lyric, and you would have been a coloratura soprano. So with that, you for ornaments, you could choose your own ornaments, which was a really cool thing. So somebody like Natalie Dessay, have you ever listened to her?
Yeah.
She was so inventive and creative with her. I was always fascinated with how she would write cadenzas first, because she would. So that, I suppose there is an element of composition in that, isn't there?
Yeah, you know? Absolutely there is. Yeah. I like being able to do it across the whole piece. Then
I know. But that's why, you're in crossover now. You can, and you can write your own piece to sing and then choose.
Yeah, I think that's why I migrated towards crossover, really, was because I wanted to do all the other stuff. And like, oh, what would it be like if we did a harmony on this bit? And and then I co-wrote 7 out of the 12 songs on my first album.
Oh, amazing.
And it's that creativeness that I love. Being able to write new music is brilliant, and I absolutely love it. Like, I think the closest thing I've written to an operatic aria is probably Alleluia with Joni Lonsdale, when I wrote him.
I have that album.
Closest.
That's my thing. Yeah.
Yes, I have it.
I downloaded the digital, because I don't have a CD player. But it's I'm like, because I live in dark ages. Well, no, because I don't live in, well, no. Why would I? Yeah. Huh? Well, you could put a CD, I suppose, in your laptop, I suppose. But
because I actually got an older Mac so that I could put CDs in, but they don't make them with CD drives anymore.
Oh, it's annoying. Yeah. Well, I love being able to hold something in my hand. Like, I love looking at the cover and seeing what the person's written inside and all the care that's been taken. I love all of that.
Exactly. I love that as well. That's why I love having the physical copy. It's like, you something, you want the physical thing. This is
and it's like it's like a little piece of art that you own. Yeah, I do. I like that. And I love when people kind of put an effort into the cover. I'm like, because there's a lot of thought that goes into, like, the cover and the design and all that. I'm like, sort of gives you an idea, a little bit more insight into who that person is, which I think is kind of cool.
Absolutely.
Alleluia was my favorite track on that. Yeah.
It's all part of the creative process, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like having physical CDs, because I know that the world is going towards streaming, it's going towards digital downloads, but then how do I take it out and put it in the car? Like,
I know. You see, that's it. It's the card. This is why I don't play CDs. I like to have them, but I don't play them because I don't drive. But I do know that anybody who has a CD of mine, they will always say, "Oh, I'm on the way home now from that concert, and I popped your CD into the thing." So it's always in the car that they listen to it. So when I'm actually, I'm hoping to record an album for next year, but I'll talk about that some other time. I was actually thinking in my head, if people are going to be listening to this in the car, they want something that'll kind of keep them company on their journey. You know, really pretty melodies, and you know, so I actually think of that. That's in the back of my head when I'm picking songs. Is like that people are going to be more than likely listening to this in their car. So yeah, it's something to kind of think about. Good driving music.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've managed to talk about a few different things here that we can actually merge into something that we've been wanting to say to people for a really long time, because we've spoken about recording from home and recording music videos from home and how physical copies are the best thing ever. We love them. So I think it might be finally time.
Drum roll. To announce. Even though we have not met in person.
Yeah, exactly. We've never met in person, and yet from different countries. I think you should reveal. You put up a guess who thing on your...
Yes, I did, because I was too excited. I was like, I'm so excited. So this day last week, we finished our collaborative project together, and we met our deadline, and myself and Mary-Jess, Wonder Women, are doing a song together. But not only that, it's not just a song. You go on, you tell the rest of it.
It's not just a song. No, exactly. It's a song that we're very happy with, a cover that we have put our own stamp on. Like we said with classical crossover, it's nice that you can have your own influences on things, you can rewrite things slightly. So we've done a cover that we've really made into our own, and we've turned it into a duet, which has not been done with this song before. Not only that, Emer has been so super clever. Honestly, darling, you are so clever. You have made a music video for this, even though we shot our bits in our homes in different countries during lockdown. So you've made a video for this as well. And then do you want to carry on and tell the rest of the story?
So not only will people be able to, at some point, download the song and watch the video on YouTube, we have decided that we would create a little one-time only, limited edition, all of our heart and soul and love into a little CD DVD package, digipack, that will be available to purchase from Mary-Jess's website. There's only 200 of them available. They will not be printed again. And it will have our song that we'll reveal in a second, our song that we put our own stamp on, plus a secret song that you won't get to know what it is until you buy the actual digipack, plus a copy of the DVD. All in one beautifully packaged thing where we got photographs of each other and made it look like we were in the same place again.
Well, that was you being clever again with the artwork.
Go on.
But
go on.
This secret song, like, this was an idea of yours that I absolutely loved, because nobody makes physical copies of singles ever.
No.
And yet physical copies are so important to me. I love them. Like, at the bottom of every email I send out to my email list, I say, if you love physical copies of CDs like I do, like, there's links to buy the physical ones, because the world is going to streaming, and it's such a shame because we don't get to enjoy that extra bit of art that an artist creates. So we were thinking, well, if we are going to make limited edition physical copies, is there a way that we can make this even more special for people, just to say thank you so much for buying a physical copy and supporting our creative project? And you came up with the secret song idea as a, like, thank you so much for buying the physical copy. We've made this secret song as a thank you to you for supporting us in this way. And I loved that idea. It's such a great idea, Emo. You're so clever.
Well, no, I kind of thought, if I always bring it back to me and what I would like as a customer, you know, because there's loads of people I follow that I love. I'm dreadful. If I go to a show or something, I am like the first person at the merch table because I'm like, ooh, I'll have this and I'll have this. I'm dreadful. Like, I love buying things. I love having stuff of the like, I follow a comedy sketch trio called Foyle Arms and Hogs that are Irish. I went to see them in February. I came home with like a t-shirt and a USB. I mean, I literally was like walking out there with bags. I love stuff like that. So when I was thinking, if I was buying an album of like a group that I really like, I would love there to be a secret song. I'd be like, oh, I wonder what they recorded. And, you know, and I kind of got excited about that idea myself. And now that we can record from home, you know, that you have your mic and I have a mic. And now this is not something we had ever tried before in terms of like mixing, like the main song, you recorded your bits at home, sent them over to my producer, and I recorded my stuff in the studio and he mixed it and he did an amazing job. The other song, we were like,
I feel like we should specify that was before lockdown.
that was before, oh sorry, yeah, that was way before lockdown, sorry, before coronavirus existed, in the way we know it. But the second song was like, I wonder, can we create something, you know? So I ended up producing it at home and I think it turned out pretty well. And you did some vocal acrobatics at the end that was like Mariah Carey, Eat Your Heart Out. If you want to hear that, honestly, that's like the best part of the song.
I know, so the fun notes, that's me.
Oh, amazing. It's probably, so to be honest, just for that, I would buy the actual physical copy, because that second track won't be available anywhere else. And it does have some seriously impressive high notes at the end. Seriously impressive.
So that's not the only thing that's not like available anywhere else. It's the DVD. We're never gonna print any more of these. It's 200 copies and that's it.
That's it.
And then sending them across to our different countries to make sure we can both sign them as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to make sure they're both signed and they're numbered as well, aren't they?
Yeah. So you'll be able to know, oh, I have number 54 of 200.
Yeah.
Or 54, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, this is not only is this super exciting because it's a collaboration with you, and like honestly, I consider you one of my best friends, and like it's so weird that we've never met, but I feel like that way about you.
It's
like nearly every day.
I know. It's actually a little bit like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not only really exciting for that reason, but it's also because it shows what's possible when you don't have any other choice. When you have to change. And yet you kind of surprise yourself as to what you can achieve. Because for me, I never thought I'd be recording from home. And now this is the first single that is going to be available for download, only that one, not the secret song. I'm recording myself from home, my first one, and I am.
And that was the song, and that was the song that convinced me to buy my microphone. Hearing you sing that song.
No way!
Yeah. So will we reveal the song now? Do you think? Yeah. Okay. Too excited. So we did our own duet version of the Joni Mitchell classic Both Sides Now, which is so loved by everybody. So we wanted to do something really different with it. My own brother, actually, who I told you earlier in the conversation before we went live, who's my best friend in the world, it's his very favorite song. Like it's his absolute favorite song. And when I said he loved it. He loved it, which I was nervous because obviously your favorite song, like you might, you know, and what we've done with it is quite different, really. So yeah, Both Sides Now by Mary-Jess and Emer. So yeah, super excited, and we did it. So I just want to mention as well that we had a lot of help from people that kind of were just super kind, and you know, really kind of just helping us with this project rather than it being like a transactional thing. So the arrangement, it has piano, harp and violin in it. The harpist is Teresa O'Donnell, the girl comes on the American tour with Affinity, and Mary McCaig, who's the violinist in Affinity. and they kind of came up with a very Celtic-y arrangement of it. And then my producer, Mark Cahill, put piano on it and produced the track, and he did a beautiful job. But I remember I had recorded my guide vocals with Mark to this track that the girls made, and I sent them over to you, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll send my bits over. And I was like, she's recording at home though. I mean, how is that possible? Like, I just didn't know that this is a thing that could be done. I just didn't know. And then you sent over your stems. I didn't even know what stems were. Like, I was like, what okay, stems, all right. And Mark was like in the studio going like, you know, she sent me her stems. I'm like, sure, it's great. And then I heard like your stems. I was like, holy crap, that's from her home? Are you kidding me? I could not believe the quality of it. Couldn't believe it. So then I ended up buying my microphone, and I'm getting in on this newfangled thing, recording from home. That's all down to your singing in both sides now.
That's so lovely of you. I didn't realise that. But yeah, for people listening, stems, I mean, normally we think of like a flower on a stem.
Yes.
That's kind of the stem you think of. But when we're talking about stems in recording, that's when you've recorded on a track and then you export that track. That track is now called a stem.
Yes. You basically, you record it with, say, the backing track, but then you take the backing track out and just send your vocals to the producer, and the producer then inputs it into the bigger kind of master track. But the stem is just that just you.
Yeah.
And stems in general would be like, you know, every track separately, and then you can mix them and bring one bit up high and one bit down low and kind of mix it that way. So
yeah, mix the volume levels, and that's then where you've got your master track that's all mixed and all the volumes are as you want it, and everything like that. Yeah,
so a bit of reverb on this and not so much on this part, and bring this thing into the background, and you know, but you can only do that if you have each line separate.
Yes. So that's the, in a nutshell, very quick idea of recording.
Yeah, for anybody who wants to know. It wasn't as au fait as you, because I was like, stems, what are you talking about? But yeah,
I'm pleased to say that I'm getting quite well practiced at it now, because I've had a load of projects come in during lockdown to record from home, and I'm so pleased with how it's going. But yeah, that's the very first, both sides now is going to be the first song that's actually released digitally out there in the world that I've recorded from home, and so that's why I'm so proud of it. And then to have everything else that we've done, even faced with COVID, like making the music video, being able to do the secret song from different countries, making the artwork from different countries.
Like trying to, like, how do you make artwork? We just happened to be lucky that we had a lot of professional photographs taken that were actually along the same kind of artistic line. So we were able to move things together, which was kind of cool.
Like we could get together and do a photo shoot. We can't do that right now.
No.
So,
but I'm actually really happy with what we have. So when is that going to be released? When are people going to be able to see this?
Well, the official release day is the 2nd of October. So that's when it's going to be available on all digital platforms. But the physical copy, the special limited edition, signed by both of us and numbered limited edition with Both Sides Now and the secret song and the DVD, hopefully the people who order that should get it at least a few days before it's available anywhere else.
Yes.
Because we've timed it so that should happen. So depending on where you are in the world and how long postage takes, because sometimes there are still some hiccups due to the pandemic. But yes, hopefully everybody who orders a physical limited edition copy should get it before anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. So so I mean, I think certainly the whatever about the digital download on the 2nd of October, in the digipack is going to be the DVD, and that won't be released to the public until kind of mid-October. So if you want to see the DVD for everybody else, we'll post a snippet of it so you get to see kind of what we did with it. Little clip, teeny small little one. You'll get to see what we did with it. But so if you want to own that, this little kind of collaboration from from different sides of the water, of creative kind of juice flowing in 2020, then Digipack will be a nice keepsake, I think.
And it's
of some people.
Make it available from my website so that it makes it easier, so it's just in one place.
Oh yeah.
And we've tried our best, because normally people don't make physical copies of singles because it's just not cost productive in that way. Like, it costs a lot of money to make a physical thing, and DVD to go with it as well. That was an extra expense, but it was something that we really wanted to do. We thought would be really special because it's quite unique, really. We wanted to make it as extra special as we could, and we've tried to keep the cost down as much as possible as well, because we know that things are quite tight money wise right now, with, you know,
everyone
and all that kind of thing. So we've tried our best to keep the cost as low as possible. So we've made it available for £12. So you've got this both sides now, plus the secret song, plus the DVD, and it's a physical copy, and it's limited edition, and it's signed by both of us. If I missed anything out there, is that everything?
No, and we've got like a cool picture of us on the front of it.
Exactly. It is
obviously you're going to assume that, but like, I'm pretty proud of the cover. Just saying.
Well, Emer did an amazing job on the cover and the artwork. It's absolutely amazing. And so, yeah, it's £12, and it's available from my website right now. So it's just gone live on the website, literally just now.
Hey! Oh, I'm so excited. I feel like I've been working on it forever, but I'm like, finally, it's ready. And yeah, we're so excited.
These things take so much time, because it's not just making the video and recording the video and recording the song, and recording the secret song. It's getting the licenses for the song. It's getting it uploaded onto your digital distributor. It's like all this other stuff that it has to be done, but it's stuff that you don't realize goes into music until you actually have to start doing it yourself. And then you're like, oh, sugar, I've actually got all this other stuff that I need to do that I didn't realize I'd have to.
Like, every time I set out a budget, I'm like, okay, here's my budget, here's what everything's going to cost, and then I'm like, well, you're just going to have to add 20% onto that, because there's always stuff that you forget about, that you're like, no, that's what I think it's going to cost me, but it's going to cost me 20% more than that, because there's always those little things you think about, or something you forgot to add on, or whatever. So, but no, we're really proud of this, and we thought long and hard about kind of making the right decision. But I think certainly now more than ever, people kind of want that sort of, I don't know, something a little special, especially in 2020, something to sort of say, 2020 sucked, but I did get this Digipack.
Yeah, exactly. You know? I think that's another reason why I'm so excited about it as well, is because even though, like, all of my live events have been cancelled, all of my cruises have been cancelled, I had to cancel all of the tour dates that I had booked in for Christmas at the musicals. Everything is gone, and yet I'm still able to create wonderful music with one of my best friends and release it as a beautiful thing. Like, it's just so special that was exactly.
And these things, they wouldn't have happened, you know. I mean, I know I know people can get a little bit annoyed when you're one of those people who's always positive and like, but genuine, no, because I am like, but let's look at the bright side. You know, if you're like, no, I actually want to be down today. Feck off, Emer.
I needed to be positive at the beginning, because I was getting like cancellation after cancellation, going, no.
Yeah. But I always, in crisis, I'm the person who's like, it's going to be okay. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what to be grateful for. What can we be grateful for right now? And honestly,
I was grateful for you.
So I was grateful for you. So there you have it. And I don't think we would have had this whole, you know, I don't think these friendships would have blossomed the way they did if we were kind of flying off here, there, and everywhere and doing things. So, you know, there's more connection with people. There's some people I've become great friends with on Facebook that started out as just people who followed the page. And now they're just these little beautiful people that are just like, you know, will send me a message randomly going, just thinking of you today and wanted to thank you for your music. I'm like, that has just made my day. And my t-shirt, I'll show you my t-shirt.
Oh,
this was given to me by my friend Dolores, who I just met on Facebook, because I think she just came across some of the videos, and she's a big Audrey Hepburn fan, and she's just sent me a nice little gift. So I'm just like, people are just super, super kind, and I think that's something to be grateful for. So much to be grateful for at the moment. And I think in a way, you know, even your I think the same way about my RTE thing, where I got to sing opera on TV, which was such a beautiful experience for me. And your songs of praise thing, I think that means more now during coronavirus than it would have before, you know. And these opportunities, there's more opportunities in a way. There's more opportunities for people than that mightn't have existed before coronavirus. So,
yeah,
you know, there's a lot to be grateful for. And we have this, and I don't think we would have maybe produced this digipack if we didn't feel that maybe there was more of a need for that sort of thing now than there was before. So
yeah. And I'm not sure that we would have had the time either, because if I was going off on cruises and organising my Christmas tour and all that kind of thing, digipacks, they take so much time to make.
I was like 4 weeks doing that video and the design thing, and then all of the stuff you did in the background, back and forth with CD Baby, and even the secret song, mixing that, recording that and mixing that, you know, all of it.
Well,
we're proud of it. We're finished now, so we're proud of it now, but at the time it was like, we're never gonna be finished.
Like that. We decided we needed to channel our inner Wonder Woman, wasn't it?
That's when the Wonder Woman thing came out. Yeah, it was like, no, we're Wonder Woman, we can do it.
Yeah.
So
and I'm so glad we did, because now people finally get to hear all of our hard work, which is the most exciting bit.
And I'm really
get to hear it now.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this version of Both Sides Now, because it is really different, isn't it, to anything. Like, I know Hayley Westner did a beautiful version of it years and years ago, and her voice is perfect for it. But we had a very different feel to our one. And obviously the harmonies kind of make this a little bit more interesting in a different sense. Not that hers wasn't interesting. But it's just, it's different, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Celtic influence as well. Like, I haven't heard a version like that before either. So I think we've been able to bring ourselves to it to make it really unique.
And we blend really well as well. Our voices actually happened to just blend, didn't, like, there was times where I was listening back going, which of us is singing that line?
Yeah,
you know, like, it's just sort of like, I think that's Mary-Jess, but you know, like, we do actually in a certain register, we actually, you know, sound quite similar, so we do blend quite well. So it's yeah, it is exciting. It's exciting. I'm just like, I could literally just keep going on about it.
We are about it all day, but
Emer, exciting.
I'm just, I honestly thank you so much, Emer, because I'm so grateful that we've been able to craft this together, and I'm so happy that we now get to finally tell people about it.
I know.
And share it with people. So if you're listening in and you'd like one of the 200 copies, because there's only ever going to be 200 copies made, I feel like I need to stress this now, because you know, you might need to get on it. They're available from my website. The link is in the description. If you're here for the premiere of this podcast, I'll put it in the chat box as well. It's available from my website. It's £12. You get Both Sides Now and the secret song and the DVD in a physical copy, a numbered special limited edition signed by both of us. I'm so excited.
You'd be mad not to. That's what that face says. You'd be mad not to. As we say, you'd be mad not to. So get on it. Yeah.
So on that positive note, and on that exciting note, I'm going to say thank you so much, Emer, for coming and joining me once again, so that we could share our exciting news with the world. And thank you so much for being such a ray of sunshine and joy during such a difficult time.
Go on, right back at you.
Just so grateful for you, and I'm so happy that we finally get to share this exciting news with everyone, and they get to hear it.
The whole next month now is going to be very, very exciting. So none of my followers have heard about this yet. So I'm going to post about this. We'll see. They're not going to stop hearing about it, but so they'll be like, okay. So yeah, I'm going to be posting about this soon, and so lovely to chat to you again and see your lovely face.
Yeah, you too. And I will chat to you again very soon, because we'll be shouting about this for a good few weeks now, ready for the release date on the 2nd of October. So yay!
Woohoo! And do share. spread the joy to people as well, you know? If people haven't heard of us, I mean, where have they been? Just, you know, spread it. Spread. We would really appreciate that too, because during this time we need it more than ever, don't we?
Absolutely.
We can't go out and meet people, so people need to be introduced to us while we sit in our houses.
Yeah. So I'll put the link below to the website so that you can buy your very own copy of our special limited edition. And also Emer's links are all in there as well. So if you could give her a like and a follow and subscribe to this podcast while you're here, that would be absolutely brilliant, and we'd both be so grateful. So yes, hop over onto my website now. The link is in the description, and Emer and I will catch up with you again soon.
Bye bye.